What's up? In this video, I'm going to be showcasing the Seishin bloodline in Shindo life. This bloodline is a 1 in 30 bloodline, meaning it is semi-rare, and to be honest, it's a pretty solid bloodline. But yeah, let's just get into this video. Alright, so first, let's go over these 3 moves, alright? So, with our moves, we have a 3 move, regular bloodline type thing, and then also a C-spec, which I'll go over later in the video, but I'll just tell you now, it's pretty OP. It has some pretty OP stun moves, and it's really good for combos. But I'll get to that later, alright? So the first move is Seishin style Mind Attack, alright? This move, when you pop it, looks something like this. I don't think it'll hit from here, alright? But when you hit them, you kind of get a wavy line and then a bubble around their head. They'll attack themselves a few times before being, hit by an explosion and kind of dealing 9k damage. The hits themselves to themselves, I believe, deal like 1k damage each. Not a ton. It doesn't work on the logs, but obviously works on players in AI. Alright. The second move is Seishin style Mind Melt. Alright. So you can pop this like so. As you can see, it targets only 2 at a time. And as you can see, it kind of hits them, that bubble and those wavy lines. And then when it actually hits them, it'll actually make them attack each other. They can't control themselves anymore. And, they'll start doing random stuff. Kind of like the Dokai Genjutsu. Yeah. And then finally, we have our third move, Seishin style Flower Bomb, alright? So we can pop this like so. As you can see, you throw out kunai, then make them fall asleep, and then they explode 3 times, depending on how many kunai hit them. If it's 1 kunai, 1 time. Each explosion deals 9k damage, and they also fall asleep before they get exploded. So, when they're asleep, you can punch them, combo them up, pretty much do anything to them. And the same with all these other moves. When they're actually put to sleep, they can't move, see? And so you can kind of combo them, punch them up, do whatever you need to do. Same for this first move here. They cannot move, so you can do whatever you want while they're stabbing themselves. Really good starter for combos, actually. I just think the hand signs are a little long, except for this third move, which, as you can see, puts them to sleep very quickly and, basically disables them from moving. So these 3 moves, along with the C-spec, which looks pretty much like this, alright, make a really solid bloodline for PvP. Lots of stuns. Third move doesn't require hand signs, and the C-spec itself looks really nice. But let's get into, using the moves against AIs, alright? Alright, so if we use this first move, Seishin style Mind Attack, as you can see when I pop it like so, they'll stab themselves, each dealing 2k damage, about 10 stabs, so maybe 20k damage in total. And then obviously they will kind of freeze up, not be able to move while they're stabbing themselves, and then get exploded. So overall, a very solid first move. Here it is just one more time. We can pop it again like so. As you can see, those stabs, you can do whatever you want when they're being stabbed or stabbing themselves. But yeah, it's a very solid first move, alright? It doesn't, it's probably not the best move of this bloodline, but I would say out of all the moves, it is maybe one of the, mid-range moves out of this bloodline. The stabs themselves actually do quite a lot of damage, as you can see. Quite a few stabs, and then obviously they get knocked back, dealing 9k damage each. And I just want to add before we get onto the second move here, that this first move, when you pop it like so, will actually cause you to fall over after you've used it, if they're stabbing themselves, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, it is worth it, alright? It does do a small amount of damage when you do fall over, but really, I think realistically, looking at the powers of this move, it's worth it, it's worth the little damage. Alright, now let's get on to the second move, alright? It is called Seishin style Mind Melt. This one makes them attack each other, and then obviously ends up with the small explosion. They can't control any moves when they're stunned with this move, like so. As you can see, when they can't control any moves, they attack each other. And you could do whatever you want when they're attacking each other, hit them with kunai, hit them with moves, really anything, alright? This move is great for setting up combos, as I said earlier. There's not a combo you can't start without this move, or this mode, really, or just this bloodline in general. The Seishin bloodline is extremely good at starting those, alright? So, with any of these moves, you can just start a combo, because they can't move when you pop them. Like, as you can see here, he goes straight to attack his buddies, and then gets exploded. So it's basically a free explosive kunai with all of these moves as well. But yeah, that's pretty much the second move. I definitely wouldn't say it's the most powerful. As I said earlier, I think its first move is mid-range, second move is like kind of lower tier, and then the third move probably is a higher tier move, and then the C-spec is probably the highest, alright? But let's get to this third move now. Alright, so if we pop the third move like so, as you can see, it only hits one of them, but it puts them to sleep, and then it explodes them all. You know, explosions are AoE, so it hit all of them. But, you know, usually it would just explode one person, if it's just one person. Solid move in my opinion. You know, it does kind of lack on the damage side of things, but if you're planning to set up a combo with this, then obviously, you know, the damage of the first move doesn't necessarily matter, it's more the stun, alright? But, you know, I would say it's a solid third move, probably better than the first and second move, actually, because as you can see, it's also an auto lock, I believe, so if I aim kind of over here, so you can see that auto lock, they can't move, do whatever you want when they can't move, and they also kind of get, you know, put to sleep by the looks of it, which is pretty OP in a move. But yeah, that's, you know, that's pretty much the third and final move. Here it is just one last time. As you can see, put to sleep, I can combo them with the second move. You know, really anything. But yeah, that's the first three moves. Now let's get on to this amazing C spec, alright? So if we hold down C to activate this mode, and obviously you need the bloodline maxed out at level 600, I believe, to unlock the mode, and it maxes out at 700. So you can hold C, and when you equip this mode, alright, you get that kind of flower trail on your hands. You run significantly faster, as well as being able to kind of, you know, phase dash, which is, you know, it's a solid feature. But I think what really makes this mode stand out from some other modes, alright, of these mid-tier bloodlines, alright, I would consider this a mid-tier bloodline, is the actual C-spec, alright? So when you pop this C-spec, as you can see, these flower pillars are summoned, your enemies kind of hit by it, and then obviously dealt damage. It is a big AoE, as well as putting them to sleep. I don't know why it didn't put them to sleep there. Maybe they removed that feature. Maybe it was too OP. But combined with the rest of the moves of this Genkai or this bloodline, you can set up some pretty crazy combos with this, alright? Pretty crazy stuff, alright? You know, since I didn't really get to show you that because I just completed that mission so insanely fast because of this bloodline, here's the C-spec one more time. As you can see, they get caught within the petals, 7k each, and then obviously are put to sleep. But yeah, one more thing to add before I, you know, head out is when you attack, you actually get, you know, extra damage from those hits. You get a 12k boost, because when you swing, if you can't tell, you actually get that kind of flower petal kind of slash coming out of your hand. I don't even know. It's kind of wacky, but, you know, it does the job, does damage, and does around the same amount of damage any Akuma would do with the final, or no, the second to last kind of mode equipped. Alright, so solid damage. You know, this is just another factor that makes this one of the top of the list and mid-tier bloodlines. Alright, if I had to give this a letter grade, you know, since school is back in session, alright, I would probably give this a solid B, alright, maybe B+, but I would say this is a B rank bloodline. And you know, B is actually pretty good, especially for a 1 in 30 bloodline, which I would consider mid-range. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or found it somewhat helpful, I hope I tried. You know, leave a like and subscribe, and just tell me in the comments how you got Seishin, and if you plan to keep it or if you plan to spin it, because I don't know. You know, maybe you plan to spin this. I you know, might actually put it in my PvP, you know, kind of weaponry loadout, and especially I'd probably use it in Arena X. But thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and see ya.